Hi, welcome to another episode of When Women Speak, Finding, Leading, and Leaving with Her Voice. I am your host, Shirley King. When Women Speak is sponsored by Life on Power in the brand. What if she knew she was powerful? A leadership development and women empowerment consulting agency. Our guest for this episode, I am so excited for this guest. I have known this wonderful individual for a very long time. As a matter of fact, you could probably say she's one of the great reasons that I'm here right now hosting When Women Speak. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Sonia Jackson Myles is the founder of the Sister Foundation and the author of The Sister 51 Ways to Love Your Sister and 51 Ways to Love Your Children. She is married and she is the mother of two adult sons. The Sister Foundation has three areas of focus: educating girls and women, enlightening girls and women of the power of sisterhood, and eradicating bullying and violence against girls and women. She is also the founder and CEO of the group of the Sister Accord of the Accord Group LLC, which is a leadership development, executive coaching, employee engagement, branding, and diversity consultancy. She launched her Dream Walking Executive Coaching and Leadership Development Program in 2015. And she now has hundreds of Dream Walkers, mentees. But before launching the Sister Accord business full time, Sonia was an executive in corporate America with over 20 years of experience, managing over 20 billion in spend. She has worked for Ford Motor Company, the Gillette Company, and the Procter and Gamble Company. Her last corporate role was P&G's Director of Global Packaging and Purchasing, managing a 6 billion in spend. She has made history. In the city of Cincinnati in 2016, her Sister Accord Leadership Development Program was integrated into the curriculum of the Cincinnati's public school system. She is the co founder of CPS's Girls to Women program. That's not all, we got a little bit more. In December 2020, Sonia launched the Sister Accord Africa, the Winner's Circle, to drive meeting her goal. And listen to this goal, everybody. The goal is 1 billion girls and women learning how to love themselves and each other. Sister Accord chapters will be established across the continent. In January 2021, Sonia was named as a leader making Black history by the Cincinnati USA Regional Chapter. And let's not forget the Divine Nine. She's also a member of the Psi Psi Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority. Sonia, welcome to When Women Speak, Finding, Leading, and Leading
Oh,
with Our Voice. I'm so excited to have you.
oh my goodness, sister. You know how much I love you. And so being here today is so very special to me. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate your yes. And the yes that you've given me over the years, the love is shown all the time. And I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
But guests, you want to get into this. I'm telling you, you know that my guests have fire, the answer to these questions. And I've said this before, but this guest right here, you want to get your journals and your pens, whether you're listening to this replay, and make sure you're ready to rewind and rewind because it's gonna be some nuggets dropped in this.
Yes.
Let's get started, Sonia. The first one is, what does it mean for you when you hear the statement, find her voice?
Ooh, wee. And let me just say, wow, when I was mentoring you and getting you together, listen, all of this awesomeness that God planted inside of you as He formed you in your mother's womb, I am blown away. I'm blown away by what you are doing. It is so
You too.
necessary and needed. And so I'm just so proud. My heart literally is smiling. And so when I think about that question, it
Mhm.
reminds me of my journey. And for so many years, how I allowed the self-talk, the stuff that's in the back of the mind that I talk about, that we
Yes.
have to purge because it literally causes fear. I think about that because I ran from what I was called to do, my purpose, the thing that I was created to do. I ran from it for so many years because I was afraid, because I didn't believe that I had the ability and capability to bring forth all of these amazing things that I thought I was hearing, but I was comfortable. And so I had to move from being comfortable to courageous, from being fearful to fearless. And the journey of that is everything that you just asked in that question. Because it wasn't until I sat still and recognized the power within. See, I was afraid of the word power.
Ah,
I was afraid of my own power, right? And that's what happens to us. And so what do? We hide the light. Here I am. I'm putting it under here, right? We hide the light. Ooh, I can't do that. I can't go there. I can't walk that way. And so just being free to walk in what I believe I was created to do is really the essence of that question.
Sonia, there was so much in that. This is just question one, y'all. This is just the first conversation we're having. Sit still and recognize the power within, because you had said you were running, so you had to stop running and sit
I had
still.
to stop running. How many of us are running, sister? We're running. Yes, that's what I
Oh,
was doing. That's what I was doing. I hope people really catch this and really let it marinate in your soul, because we have to stop running. I call it the power of the pause. And when we pause long enough to really assess what's going on, then we can make better decisions.
the power
Of
of
pause.
the pause.
Hmm. And pause is an acronym, so we can get into that a little later.
Mhm. And you listen, viewers, you know that I'm an acronym person. So, so I got it honestly from my.
Yes. But it's easy for people to remember when we, create these acronyms. So yes, I am a big believer in making things easy for people to digest and then to be able to use.
Hmm. Again, I get it from my big sis. And so let's dive into this second point of conversation, Sonia. Sonia, have you ever had a voiceless experience?
Woo wee!
You
You trying to
describe
get
it.
me to just tell it all?
Fighting when women speak, that's exactly what we do. We give you the truth, not surface.
Oh my gosh, I have so many different moments where I felt invisible. Have you ever felt invisible, sister?
Absolutely.
Yes. And I had to ask myself, why do I feel this way? What's really going on? And I had to recognize that, guess who was the root cause of why I was feeling invisible, and in some instances why I was showing up as the invisible woman. Remember that? Wasn't it a TV show, Invisible Man?
Yes, it sure was.
I mean, it was me.
Because even he had the power to
Come on now.
not be invisible or to be seen.
Do you want me to run around the room and like do cartwheels right now? He
I'm
had
right
the
with you.
ability. Get what he had the ability. So what I had to recognize was it was me. In so many instances, I was showing up as the invisible woman and not really letting my light shine. And so I had to ask myself why. Why was I doing this, right? And so I created, as part of dream walking, as you know, we have dream phobia, where we're just literally scared. And there are two types of people in this whole, from my experiences,
Mm-hmm.
in this whole journey of dream phobia and acknowledging and being diagnosed with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the people who play it safe. Playing
Mm-hmm.
it safe, girl. Always got to overthink it and overthink it and overthink it some more. Or, in a lot of instances, we just don't want to shine our light because we're afraid that of what people are going to say. What are they going to think? We feel like we have to be the shrinking violet. And so I ask people all the time, which path are you on? What's going on? And for me, that playing it safe showed up as being the perfectionist, being the overthinker. I had to think about it 50,000 times before I moved. Well, the opportunity might be gone by the time you've overthought it.
Yes.
And so I had to really do a lot of self reflection, that caught an introspection. Emotional intelligence is one of the most incredible things to build. It's a skill. So, you got to build the skill, build the muscle.
Get your reps up so that muscle.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And that journey for me helped me to recognize, wow, Sonia, it's you. You're the problem. And so when you get yourself together and start operating consistently and showing up consistently, then people don't have to guess who you are, what you stand for, what you're doing, and they can just embrace it. And so that's what I think, what I have experienced, because I have a mentee from every continent with the exception of Antarctica. And I see this amongst all different women, all different backgrounds. These are the kinds of things that I see often: that dream phobia, playing small, staying small to please others, or being safe, to please yourself, because you're afraid. And that's what I had to really address so that I could move forward out of that voiceless phase
Mm-hmm.
that I was feeling.
So you discovered it was you. You have the power to move out of that phase. And there was one word that you used, Sonia, was consistently.
Yeah.
Meaning you couldn't do it today and
Yeah.
then you were invisible, then play invisible for another 2 weeks, and then do it again and play invisible again for another 3 months. You had to do it consistently.
Right.
And I think I can venture to say that to do it consistently, that's how you build up your courage.
That's right. That's right, sister. That's it.
Hmm.
That's it. That's all.
That's it, that's all. And my next inquiry, Sonia, is why should the voices of women and their values even matter? Why should the voices of women and their values matter? In wherever they are, relationships, careers, business, at the table, in the room, in the chair, why should the voices of women and their values matter?
We're fearfully and wonderfully made. If I could just get all of my sisters to recognize that part, we could shut this thing down. I believe that the most egregious issues that our world, that our country is facing, guess who can solve it? Guess who's got to stand up and walk in power to solve it? It's how we're wired. And so for so many years, what I realized is, as I was working in corporate America, at Ford, Gillette, and Procter and Gamble, so often women believe they have to act like men in order to accept, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I got to the place of understanding, no, there's something really special about our power, that what we bring to the workplace, what we bring to our families, what we bring to our friendships and sisterhood. We have to learn how to embrace it. And so once we do, that's why my goal is 1 billion girls and women learning how to love themselves and each other. Because listen, once we do that and we come together, we will be unstoppable. All of these issues that we see plaguing our country and the world, we will be the ones to actually fix it. I'm convinced of that. So that's why I quit my job to do this work, because I am so passionate about it. And I believe in the depths of my soul that that's what it's going to take for us to solve these most egregious issues that we're dealing with.
I agree wholeheartedly, Sonia. I remember when I contacted you, um, when I was tapped, when God tapped me about this, and I didn't understand why there needed to be another person empowering women. And
Yes.
right in the middle of a corporate conference at the for the role I'm skilled at, that there was something on the screen about then the 2016 global secretary, United Nations secretary, Ken Bunyan, and he was naming the things that the world need.
Mm,
Water, right? We need
mm,
clean water. We need food. We
mm.
need health. And
Yes.
then he said, women empowerment. I got knocked off of my chair. That is when I needed to reach out to somebody who understood. And that was Sonya for me. Because
Wow.
initially I didn't think you shouldn't be there. There's not a need for anybody else. I kept saying, God, there's no need for anybody else to do that.
Mm.
But he kept showing me
Oh,
exactly.
yes.
So we talk about global and women solving problems. I heard it with my own ears.
Yes. 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 And there's enough room for all of us, which is why the sister court principles are designed the way that they are, because in so many instances, people will say, oh, well, there's no room for me. Listen, nobody can do it like you. Nobody can do it like Shirley. Nobody can do it like Sonia. Because of these things that were planted inside of us, nobody can do it like us. It's all
Nobody can.
uniqueness that we bring to this work. And that's what's needed.
Yes.
People receive information differently. Things will resonate with certain people a certain way. And so there's room for all of us. There's room for all of us.
I often like to say, you get a group, you get a group, you get a group, because there's a group of people assigned to each one of us around the
Exactly.
world.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so, Sonia, you created a strategy for you to begin to no longer be invisible.
Hmm.
And can you describe and share experience when that happened? There's plenty of times from your bio that you were leading with your voice, but can you share a specific experience whereas you said to yourself, "Oh, I got it now." I like you made a decision or whatever it is that convinced you that now I am really leading with my voice.
Yes. I remember, I've never shared this publicly before. So it's so fitting that I would share it with you, right? Um, I was having a one-on-one session with a supervisor, and I was talking about all of the things that my team and I that we had accomplished.
Hmm.
And she said, well, um, I'm not sure. I can't, how does she say it? I can't be certain that your leadership is the reason why you had these results.
Mm,
And I said, wait a minute, like, have you ever seen these results before? Has has anyone in this role ever gotten these results before? No. Okay, so I come in, I have a plan for how I lead, which is servant leadership, embracing, bringing people together, being innovative, being creative, no limits. Like I don't put any boundaries and limits on my team. And we get these kind of results, but you can't be certain that is my leadership. And that was just an aha moment for me. I knew then that I had to advocate for myself because it was clear that my leader was not, supervisor was not going to advocate for me.
mm,
And so often in I do a lot of executive coaching, a lot of work with leaders at all levels in companies. And so often, I talk about that advocacy piece because I made assumptions, and I think a lot of people make assumptions about what our bosses are doing. And in a lot of instances, you'd be surprised what they might be saying in that room when your name comes up. And so I knew then that I had to have advocates in a variety of different places and spaces.
mhm,
I
mhm.
knew at different levels I needed to have advocates because I couldn't rely on the person who should have been advocating for me to do it. And so that's when my voice, honey, it went to another whole level. I was like, look, I am going to make sure that people are clear, not in a braggadocious, because I'm not arrogant,
Mhm,
not with ego. Ego has no place in true leadership,
mhm.
but in a
Right.
way that was authentic and transparent about what I had done to
Yes.
make sure that we got those results. And so I never shared that publicly before, but that was an interesting meeting.
And thank you for sharing it with our guests. For those that every week you tune in to When Women Speak, you heard a few times. First time I shared this. Because When Women Speak is special. We're on a mission for you to amplify your voice.
Yes,
That's exactly why When Women Speak web series exists, for you to amplify your voice. Because I don't know what I don't know.
that's right.
So the guests are able to share their experiences with us authentically. Sonia, thank you so much for giving me that gift.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's my honor.
So we've had guests that have had all different type of responses to this question. And so the statement "leaving with your voice" that can convey various meanings, Sonia. But what does that phrase "leaving with your voice" convey for you?
Well, I just remember that very challenging decision that I had to make,
Mm,
recognizing that I had a calling and recognizing that there was work for me to do that I had been running from,
yes.
and recognizing that I was going to be walking away from a lot of stuff that I had worked very hard for, right? I went to
Mm,
school, I studied, I did things that I was supposed to do, I was checking boxes. Am I really getting ready to just walk away from that with this decision to leave Procter and Gamble? And I said, gosh, it's time. I'm going to do it afraid. I'm going to
mm,
take these stock options and bet on me versus
mm,
letting them
mm.
just sit there. And I really felt like I left with my voice because the things, how I was showing up in the workplace and the things that I was doing, really starting at Ford, really starting at my internships. I had some amazing internships in college. And so what was that thread? What did I care about?
Mm.
And how do I continue to recognize that it's part of my voice, it's part of my purpose, and then leave with it intact, right? And I always say to people, leave well, because you never know, right?
Mm-hmm.
What may happen in the future. But I realized that I embraced my voice. I first had to find it, then I embraced it, and then I left with it. And now I continue to use it to move to my next level of excellence. And then when I get there, it's time to move to my next level of excellence. And then when I get there, it's time to move to the next level of excellence. And that's what that whole leaving with my voice, it's leading with my voice and leaving with my voice.
Did y'all hear that? Y'all heard the three? So let me just remind you what the three was that she just shared with you: finding, embracing, and then leaving.
Yeah,
That embrace period, though, is important.
that's
And
right.
I believe, Sonia, if you don't embrace it, then you leave a lot on the table.
That's right. That's right, sister. Absolutely. And it's time out for that. We've done enough of that.
The
All
table is full. Mhm. The table is full with our voices.
of mhm.
Mm. Sonia, I don't know about you, but I could go on and on with this particular episode, but it's time for me to ask Sonia. Sonia, what are the last words you have for the When Women Speak guests and those that are listening and those that are listening to a replay 6 months from now, 6 years from now? What are your last words for our guests?
What I want, I have so many things that I could say, but I'm going to pare it down to this. There is always a seat at the table for excellence. Focus on being excellent in every aspect of what you do. In so many instances, people will try to take shortcuts. There are no shortcuts to excellence. You have to do the work. You have to roll up the sleeves. You have to care. You have to serve. And when you do, the outcomes will blow your mind exceedingly and abundantly more than you could ever think of or ask for. And so that's my wish and prayer for each and every one of you.
Excellence. And if you didn't notice, she gave you two definitions for it: caring and serving.
You got to
Without that, excellence doesn't exist.
you got to care. You got to
Mm.
care.
Sonia, thank you so much for showing up here at When Women Speak. I have enjoyed this episode.
Thank you.
When Women Speak again is sponsored by Life on Power in the brand. Whatever she knew, she was powerful. Sonia, how do our guests contact you? How do they get in touch with you?
So I'm on all social media platforms except TikTok. I haven't done TikTok. So I am the sister, SISTER, A.C.C.O.R.D, A.C.C.O.R.D, on Instagram, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. I'm Sonia, Sonia Jackson Myles, Myles. We have a Facebook page, the Sister Accord. And you can reach out to me, DM me. I'm here to serve, and so please don't hesitate to reach out.
And let's just say she will respond to you.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And you see this voice that you can embrace right now on this show? That's exactly what she sounds like in DMs and in messages and in texts. But thank you for joining us for another episode of When Women Speak. I am your host, Shirley King, and I'll see you next week.